We will be a minute or two, ladies and gentlemen, and we will be with you as things appear to be working. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. We have had trials and tribulations, but we're back. Hello. How's it going, players? Good. Yeah. All right, yeah, don't say anything just to scare me, you fucks. Ah, Jesus. Okay. So we're here. I had to reset my router and everything a few times, but something was broken and now something's fixed. So we're back. Continuation of part 1. Let us get in the mood as our players are currently eyeballing a boar up north of them. Now, the question is, yeah, by the way, when I go back, dice get rolled all of a sudden, so that's just great. Here's our boar up north. We've had one successful enough perception test for Godbert to confirm it's a boar. Setup, you just simply noticed it was there. So the question is, what are you guys going to do?
Is it smaller than me?
It's a healthy adult, I would say. So you wouldn't want to get speared by its tusk, but I'd say smaller in mass, perhaps slightly. No, sorry, in length perhaps, but it probably weighs a damn sight more than you. It's sturdy and built primarily of muscle. Not unlike yourself, but...
Oink. Wilfred, how close do you have to get to shoot that thing?
Bert's just going to walk up to it.
Okay.
Yes, stay hidden. Stay hidden.
I would like to sneak up to the rocks with the shadowing outcast.
Okay. Can you roll me an average perception test, Godbert, as you walk closer to the animal?
I'm not like sprinting towards it.
Yep, just walking
towards it. Yeah.
Roger, roger. Roger, Roger. Average perception, please.
Perception?
Can you roll an average perception and I will say an average animal care as well, for two different things. The animal
Charm
care
animal or animal care?
Animal care.
I don't have animal care.
I do.
Let's go
Charm
with charm animal then. So it's your knowledge of animals is basically what I'm wanting to pick at here.
I have
Okay.
no idea. I'm completely...
Yeah. Tough one.
Piggy wants an apple. Piggy wants an apple.
Yeah, it's difficult to read. It's difficult to know for sure if it's... It looks like a healthy pig feasting on something for as far as you're concerned. So, yeah, by all means, walk on up to it. And as you do so, once the boar notices you, it locks eyes. It raises its snout, which is covered in blood, toward you, sniffing the air a little bit. And it does start to beat the ground with its hoof. It looks more aggressive than you would expect. And out of its rear end, you can see 2 arrows waving in the air.
That changes things.
Now, it looks like it's not particularly happy at your presence.
Yeah.
It's currently debating what its actions are, so I will ask you, Godbert, what yours are.
I have dealt with wounded animals before, and I know they can be pretty nasty fuckers. So just gonna back up. Just yeah, not my thing right now.
Okay. The animal at this point sees you retreating and moves its snout back down toward the other again. Wilfred, can you roll me an average perception now you're a little bit closer, please?
Sure.
There you go. This hog isn't eating this animal in front of it, it's licking it. Another hog on the floor, which has another 2 arrows sticking out of the side of its ribcage. Given a pretty decent roll of 18, it's 2 SL, I think that's enough to infer that the animal is perhaps grieving.
Upset animal. Somebody hunted its kin.
Yeah.
Or
Got
something
to
got...
Got 2 arrows in its butt.
I'm going to walk up to these 2. I'm not being stealthy, I'm just walking up. What is it?
Well, if you can get me, if I could get any closer, then I could calm it. But it's wounded, so I don't think it will let me get close.
Would you say that this rock up here that I'm over by, would I be able to climb that?
Perhaps. It's fairly slippery and there is a moss over it, but you can get a handle.
Godbert, give him a boost.
I would like to try and climb to the top of it, just to check something.
Do you, young Master Halfling, have the skill named Climb? Which we so...
The skill named Climb.
Can you roll me an average climb, please? And is anyone assisting your short self? Well, that's still enough. Someone offers to help, but before they can even look twice, you're on top.
I want to try it and see if I can't see any other bodies or tracks around where the boar was.
One, will carry over your perception in the interest of not rolling endless dice.
Okay.
Nothing as far as you can tell in your immediate vicinity. To your right is a mountainous range, to your left the river, the other side forest. Certainly rocky terrain, no shortage of places for something to hide. With this, seeing you atop the rock, this boar is going to turn around and start pacing in the opposite direction.
Like it's trying to lead us somewhere?
Like it's walking in the opposite direction.
It's running away.
Alright.
It's
I'll
limping, I would state, as it's evident. See, getting a full view of its rear end, you can see the left hip limping as it sort of drags its hip along behind it.
Alfred, can you kill it from there?
I suppose I will put it out of its misery. I will be unsacking the crossbow pistol for this as to not alert every baddie within 100-mile radius.
Okay. You have a reasonable range. You are at 27 yards, young Master Wilfred, which I believe is going to be... I'll allow you a very hard range test. It's walking slowly, though, so we'll say minus 20 in total.
So a hard check.
A hard check will move it down to. And you can take time to aim as well, so I'll even throw another plus 10 in afterwards, but still, this isn't necessarily the range intended for a crossbow pistol, as
Not
the
wrong.
hog continues to walk away.
Okay.
Slowly dragging its weight.
I'm going to try to catch up to it.
Yep.
Moving at the speed where I can catch up to it without hopefully making it try to run by a sprint or anything.
Okay.
I'll climb down and then
And then
quietly
as I get
after.
as I get close enough, then I move into a charge with my hammer.
Okay. I'm going to give the pig a chance here. It's going to roll an initiative test to see if it can detect your approach. Not quite. It's not moving briskly, it's not moving quickly. You can certainly charge it with your hammer. Despite the fact you have the slow quality, given the circumstances, I'm still going to put this down to an initiative test because this is between the two. So I'm going to ask you to roll your initiative as well for me, please, to just see if you can act quicker than this. Ordinarily, the hammer's a slow thing and most creatures would have the opportunity to poke you first, but given it's quite intent on leaving...
Take that off average, yeah, leave it on the normal.
Challenging, please. It is going to have a little swipe at you first before you can swing at it, but let's have our opposed test. One from yourself. You have that plus 10 for charging.
It hasn't changed my modifier, it's turned that off.
Roger, roger.
Put up the challenging, and plus 10, and there we go.
The pig goes down easily. A simple squeal, and it falls to the floor in front of you. Seemingly nearly dead already. It offers barely any resistance.
Oh. There's lunch.
What's
Who,
with the
who wants
other?
yeah, who wants to butcher this?
I can have a go at it, but what's with this other carcass here?
Well, I wouldn't eat that. That's not good meat.
It's a younger hog. A pup. Smaller in size, like that of maybe a small dog, with 2 arrows in the side of its chest. They are crudely constructed arrows, I would say.
These don't look like any arrows we would use.
Probably grubby in the mountains.
Beastmen, goblins. Just be looking out for trouble.
Grubby are always looking for trouble.
Right, let's prepare these. Let's gut them, bleed them, take off the meat.
While they are busy with meat chopping, I would start prospecting in the water, looking for the first clues of dirt. Washing
Okay.
the first pieces down. Is that law geology?
You can
Which
certainly
one do you
roll me a law geology to see where you want to start. You are in the basin, the place you know that Bocky has instructed you to go.
Oh lord.
And it's very hard to know where to start. Perhaps somewhat overwhelming for a excitable dwarf. So, I will say one gets no guidance. You have a stretch of river here, and a shovel in your hand, and a sieve by your side. What you gonna do?
Start sieving it, with a roll like that, so it would probably just go, well, might as well start anywhere, I don't even care.
Okay. Now,
Not pretty much where I am.
you'll start with where you are. Roger, roger. What are the rest of you up to while Celeb starts to examine the soil?
Gutting and skinning the animals. Making fire.
Okay. Do you have an outdoor survival?
I rolled it, 16.
That'll do very nicely.
It was
Hmm.
against 65, but it was actually against 45.
I see. Still +3. The meat has an odd scent to it, Godbert. Somewhat draining the blood from the creatures, especially the one that you have just slain. It's somewhat darker and sticky than you would hope for a fresh kill. Skullplate Wilfred Lothar, what's the plan?
I'm going to move down to the riverbed. A bit further away from Sulip.
Yep.
I'm going to see if I can work anything out. I've got geology, I'm sure, have I?
Maybe dwarf.
And Geological
I do.
Slayer. Entirely
Might
canon.
roll that. This is just going to be a standard, no modifiers.
An
nothing
average test. You do not have the pressure of combat on you right now.
No average? Well, I went for challenging. Not
It
that
wouldn't have helped
would
that much. Okay, I will say Skullplate's slightly more certain that pretty much with where you are, Skullplate, you think it's fine? It's...
I start sifting, and I'm keeping an eye on the forest that's the other side of this river.
Okay. We will say for the purposes of this that some equipment has been purchased, which we will discuss the pricing of later. Because
I
I do...
have prospecting tools.
I think at best then Skullplate will have to use yours in between, so while you're digging he's sieving and vice versa. And that's the assumption I'll make for now, so let's say make the best use of time. So, I am going to roll some dice now to see what you both find in your dirt.
Dirt.
And I am excited.
Red droppings.
For yourself, Celeb,
Yep. What do I roll? Ooh! That's not too shabby.
a little trace of copper. Small,
What we're here for, but
you know copper when you see it. For yourself, Skullplate, the same.
Oh.
Small amount of copper on both of your locations. A small flag.
Point.
There we go.
Flag.
It'll do. Now, given your rolls were somewhat lackluster, I'll say that takes you a little while to begin the process. But you have 2 points where you have noted a metal. A fairly promising start. Lothar, while all of this is happening, what are you up to?
I've hopped up onto this rock just to keep an eye out for whatever put the arrows into those 2 boars.
Average perception for me, please.
I've done the same on the previous rock.
Roger. Same for yourself.
Dear Lord.
Okay. Your eagle eyes, Wilfred, can spy a number of caves to your north, east, and southeast. 3 in total. Perhaps some smaller caves among them. You cannot see any movement from where you are. But rest assured, stood on top of a rock. If anything were to be peeking from the darkness, they would be looking straight at you.
Do any of these caves have any sort of totems or identifying non-human items in front of them or around them?
Nothing obvious that you can see from where you are. You can simply see the entrance and darkness inside. The sun at the other side of the caves, making it difficult to see even the entrance in clarity.
But I have night vision.
You do, but it's quite far away.
Well,
I'll say with your +3, even with your night vision, nothing is apparent.
All right. Well, I will relate to Lothar that we have 3 caves in those directions that you said.
Okay. I'll keep an eye on them, just in case anything comes out of them.
Okay. Skullplate and Celeb, can we have the same again, please? Another average Lord Geology. Meanwhile, Godbert, are you finishing up with the pig right now?
Yeah, you said the there was something meat was somehow off.
Mm.
Good rolls.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Indeed. The blood is thicker than you would expect for a freshly killed animal. I would say...
Can I do...
yeah.
I want to... can I do an evaluate to see if it's still edible?
Sure.
Something like that?
Yeah, I'd say an evaluate would be one. It will give different info, but it'll do.
Or folklore.
Ooh, let's have a folklore.
Just
average.
I'm assuming average.
Average for this. It's not information that's unheard of. It is well known that some tribes of goblins hunt with poisoned tipped arrows. That would certainly explain why even the larger boar was having such a tough time of it, even with 2 arrows in its back. Normally such a creature could take quite a few before going down, but it would at least explain its more lethargic demeanour. You suspect both of them have been poisoned by these arrows.
Let's see. Would I know anything? I've got heal, but it's rather basic. This was more Lazarus area.
More his for the specific types of venom and what they do. Perhaps he would know the answer, though, if you took the meat back to town?
Yeah, look, guys, we're not going to eat these animals here. They've been poisoned. So, I don't know if what kind of poison it is, and I don't know if we cook it, if it's safe to eat. So, I do want to know what it is. So, maybe take a sample of it and see if the kid can find out something about it.
You reckon those arrows were poisoned?
Yeah, blood's thick and all.
Wouldn't
See
surprise
anything
me.
waving an arrow at you, take cover.
Yeah, don't let those things hit you.
Does anyone see any caves or anything anywhere where the Groby could be?
We've
There's
got
caves up
3.
here.
3 caves, north, east, and southeast, give or take.
I know you said that, but nobody told us. We're down here digging.
It's fair.
We have 3 caves, north, east, and southeast.
No?
Now, we'll return to Celeb and Skullplate for a moment, as between you, Celeb, you can place 6 flags. And I will say yay or nay. If you move your location, I will tell you whether or not you find something. A little game of Minesweeper. So, where, oh where, would Celeb like to go?
With the rocks right here next to me, I would assume he would work into this general direction of the rocks and poke around here next to see if it goes to the southeast, like map-wise right now, like bottom right corner.
That is a negative.
That's a negative.
And Skullplate, equally, you have 3 locations you can cover, so where would you like to go?
I'm going to head up here in a little bit, over to this set of rocks.
Yep. And that equally will be a negative. You have another location each, Celeb, Skullplate, where next?
I would go here in the middle. See if it's between the 2 thingies, since we have something down at the riverbed.
And Skullplate?
By the
over yonder.
portion of the river up here.
That is a negative. You've got 1 more Skullplate, and Celeb, we are going to roll on your table. Because you do find something here.
Ooh.
A little bit of silver.
For silver!
A little glimmer of hope. And
copper is good money. I would be fine with copper.
I'm going to move up here.
are you doing so loudly, Skullplate?
I'm
Right.
not being particularly quiet.
Okay.
I'm not sneaking, but I'm not sort of shouting and screaming. I'm just walking.
And we are going to roll. A little bit of copper. Skullplate, you take a look to your side where there is a cave, and you know enough about geology and the way this works that you could probably bet your finger that there might be something in there, beginning with a C and ending in opper.
Cunt! No.
Sell it. You have another 4 locations. Let's whiz through them. So,
alrighty. Moving over here.
that is a negative.
Just but there's more caves and stuff. They'll probably find that there's metal closer to the mountain.
Where you are, Celeb?
No. Boop.
Negative.
Also negative, so that must be a straight line then. There we go.
Silver.
Oh. More silver over here. Okay, it's already a very tight spread, so it must be somewhere here. So the last thing to do would be figuring out how deep it is. So I would go a little further this time.
Silver.
Still silver. That's my last flag, right?
That's your last flag, and you look to your east.
Yeah.
At a cave. Celeb, can you roll me a perception chest, please? Average.
A perception chest.
Yeah, a perception chest. A skull plate, the same for the caves that you are now stood alongside. And Lothar and Wilfred, I will say that your eagle eyes do not spot any movement in your area.
make sure to yell if I...
Is that a roll of 15 afterwards? I think that is. Right. We'll now get all the rolls at once. Did you take a corruption point for that?
I said so.
I mean, it may have been worth it. Sell it. There is
Successfully at 50-50.
a musky quality to the air coming out of that cave. A sort of acidic sting that pierces your nostrils. It's deeply unpleasant.
This smell. This smelly smell. That smell.
It's a smelly smell. And skull plate. You can see inside your cave nothing but a faint glimmer, which, as you adjust your position in the sun, I think could be some cobwebs. Now, Hydra needs to roll 2 dice. This is for you, Selip.
Oh boy.
And that's for... A small pitter-patter of noise starts to come from the cave by your side, Selip. To begin with, it sounds like shuffling and some high-pitched voices. What would you be doing in this situation?
I would probably lift my hand, looking behind me, seeing if anyone notices me lifting my hand, getting attention from the rest of the group without actually screaming around.
Mm-hmm.
And then pointing at the cave. If I don't make any noise, but point at the cave, like...
Okay.
I think they should get there's something wrong.
All right. Selip. Lothar and Wilfred eye your signal. How do you respond, you two, Godbert?
I'm probably going to jump down and shufty over there. Although, since he's not shouting, I'm going to try and keep it relatively quiet as I can in chainmail.
Okay.
I will hop down and go alert Skullplate to the rabid wavings of our fellow Dowie.
Okay. Cool beans. Cool beans. And so, Lothar, as far as I understand, you are stood facing the entrance of the cave, is that correct?
Assuming that big shadow is the cave, yes. Yep.
Okay.
I'm assuming this is like a little valley leading up to the cave.
It is indeed. It is indeed.
Yeah.
Wilfred, you quietly move up to Skullplate to inform him. Skullplate, there seems to be no movement inside of your cave. Nothing else aside from the cobwebs have caught your attention, and Wilfred approaches hastily.
Okay. As there's nothing going on here, I'm going to point out to Wilfred and just sort of say, well, there's another cave here, but we need to watch our backs, and then...
Stella found something in his cave.
Yep. Then we're going to start running down here.
The entrance of this cave.
So am I behind a rock here from the entrance of the cave?
You can be, if that is what you wish.
That's what I want to be.
So, we currently have Selip and Lothar in plain sight. Godbert as well. What are your plans? You have approximately seconds before whatever is inside this cave exits. So please tell me.
Well, remembering that the arrows are poisoned, I'm going to step closer to this rock in case I need to dive for cover.
Okay. Are you peeping round from said rock, or are you stood in clear sight?
Kind of half and half, so I can leap round. I mean, I still have to dodge out the way of an arrow, but I'm not fully just stood out in the open with my hands on my hips.
Okay. And Godbert, yourself?
I am hiding behind the rock, probably.
Okay. And Wilfred, from your positioning, I assume the same?
I'm hiding behind a rock with my pistol mounted on the rock.
Taking aim. I like it. Selip, finally yourself.
slowly moving up into a line with Talak and Lothar and Skullplate. My halberds braced at the ready.
Don't suppose anybody's got some holy hand grenades.
You have a shield, right, Salep?
Me? No.
Salep.
Nope.
He has a halberd in his hands currently.
Oh, right, yeah. So you're just going to take arrow to the face. Okay.
Pointed towards the cave. Okay. From the
Who
cave,
knows? Wolf Riders?
the voice gets louder. It's two voices after a moment, two high-pitched, certainly to Celeb and Skullplate, frustratingly whiny voices.
Oi, do you think he's dead yet? Well, let's go find out. I don't want to get stuck by him again.
Two goblins walking. I will say you have a few seconds between them saying that and exiting, so if any of you are adjusting what you're doing, please tell me, but otherwise...
Yeah, I'm going to go around the rock to the other side so I'm hidden.
Get into cover. Bush.
Apologies while I forget that I have two different...
Salep, you bloody fool.
Wait.
Cover. Ambush.
I'm going to roll.
Hastily making my way down to cover. I don't know if they heard me.
They are arguing, so this is a difficult test for them. Okay. Two goblins. Two filthy greenskins. Exit from the cave. Headed toward. Still bickering and arguing between the two of them. I'm going to ask for anyone that is hid out of sight to make an easy stealth test. This is just to keep out of line of sight. You're stood still behind a rock, and they're arguing, so this isn't an impossible task. So basically...
I have rover, that means they can
you are fine.
not see me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not actively looking for someone, they're bickering,
that's
so
it, yeah.
you
It
are
was average,
fine.
right?
Easy.
Easy.
Given you're not moving...
Oh, wow.
Skullplate, I will
He's
say
vanished.
you even managed to ready your weapon and get yourself in a position to pounce from where you are. Silently readying yourself. The two goblins continue to walk forward.
Hey, so where was he? Oh, he's down by the water. Well, all right, then let's have a look then.
The two of them continue to walk forwards. And I assume... Wilfred?
I'd like to surprise the goblin.
How would you like to surprise the goblin?
I will jump up on top of the rock and shout, "River Wardens, get your hands up!"
As he does that, I'm coming out behind them.
Yeah, same. And looking to charge.
So, are you charging to stab them, or are you just, like, surrounding them to, let's say, arrest them?
Oh, no. While their attention's on Wilfred while he's shouting at them,
Yeah.
I'm running up behind them, and I'm going to smack him in the back of the
Okay,
head.
so you want to smack in the back of the head. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I need to roll an initiative test. Given that your amazing stealth roll, I will make this a harder test for the goblin. So unless he rolls like an absolute... Yeah, well, there you go. That one is a free hit. That one is a free hit. So I will say, while the front one is going, "What? Who are you? Why are you here?" Meanwhile, squish from behind him as... Like, he will just die in one hit from that. Without question. Do you want to roll anyway? Like, just to see how squish? That's enough. You would have had a lot of extra bonuses, so...
He's jam.
Startled, he then turns behind him
Hey, what's going on? Ah!
and panics. What are you all doing?
Now, I would like to charge out of my hiding because I haven't displayed myself yet and impale him!
Roll me an initiative test, please.
Initiative. Where do I find my
Yeah.
initiative again?
He is alert. Oh, yeah, you can stab him.
To find my initiative. Perfect.
Don't forget, you need to change it to challenging, don't forget, and change your advantage, because it's not doing that anymore. For charging.
Yeah. I mean,
You tick a box for charging.
you can tick a box for charging now, indeed. Okay, actually,
Wow.
amazingly, he will be able to try and parry you first. Lothar, Godbert, Wilfred.
Yeah, I'm charging him anyway.
Charging
Okay.
him.
Having come round the rock.
Okay. Okay.
Do you want me to do an initiative? Or...
Yeah. This is just to see if you can act faster than him. Because he has been alerted, but he's also caught off guard.
It's challenging.
Yes.
Challenging initiative. Yep.
And we suck.
Yep.
Oh, Lothar.
I mean, he
beats
rolled
his
plus
roll.
4, so you still beat him, Lothar, and certainly Godbert.
Cool.
Godbert, you are slightly quicker and on the ball here, as are many old men. What's Godbert doing?
Experienced. But seeing how the dwarf's charged, he will take advantage of the situation and try to smack that goblin on the back of his head.
You can roll me your. You were doing an aimed attack here, I assume. It's from behind, so just roll me a. It's also surprised, so roll me a average test, so plus 20 in total for
Yeah,
for the
charging.
attack. Yeah, and with your charge, yeah. Okay, just roll me a strength, please. I think it's an opposed strength for the pummel, but
Challenging?
yes. It's enough to knock him out. He starts to fall to the floor in front of you, Selip and Lothar, as the back of his head is cracked, perhaps even open, by a staff. You're not sure if he's dead or not, but Wilfred, Selip, Lothar, I assume you each strike him with your weapon.
May as well finish him off. Yep.
Yeah. Temporarily
Together now.
dazed after being struck, you may each attempt to finish the job.
Just roll
This
it as average.
would kind of be with plus 60, so, I mean, he's
Oh,
dead.
okay.
I'm just curious who does the most damage here.
Everyone beating him to a pulp.
Yeah, pretty much.
Impaling him more like.
Yeah, he is. This is with your spear, Lothar. That clearly goes straight through his body and out the other side. Wilfred, your boat hook, tearing a portion of his leg off. A Selip, by the time we add your bonuses, you will just about manage to pierce his arm as well. Perhaps not quite as impressive as the impaling from the spear, but still an extra gash. The goblin is dead. He did manage to let off a yelp, as he was quite surprised
No,
by
not a bad review.
being charged.
Filthy goblin.
He'd rate that about a 3 out of 10 as a being ambushed experience.
Would not recommend.
Would not recommend it to his others. It is quiet for now. Fairly
I
quiet
can only guess
indeed.
that they don't move in only pairs. There's got to be more of them.
Yeah.
Well, that's
What
two
is-
less we have to deal with, and if we can deal with the rest now, or at least most of the rest, then that'll be a good start.
Well, I saw you rock fondling in this direction, Selip. What have you found?
Oh, well, first of all, let me put it this way. If they come out here with two little gummers waiting for a boar to die on their own, I would say it's a scouting party, so we won't have too many others of them. Other than that, copper on the shore and a trace of silver going up to this cave, so I want in that cave.
Yeah, but
Oh,
if you want to make good of that silver, we better make sure the area is clear. So we have to check out the cave,
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
even if there might be more. So
I think it may be time to make this place greenskin free.
yeah,
we know that there's going to be more in there. If they were two coming out to get food, they're obviously taking it back. So this
Yeah.
one's going to be inhabited.
well, feel free to take the lead.
I will take the lead as the shortest one. It means those with bigger weapons can hit over me.
At least that makes sense.
No halfling's going to take the lead from a slayer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going into the cave.
We
so
are
far, I
going.
haven't seen him punch anybody in the collarbone. So
we are going into the cave. Now, let me know once you've all loaded. But yes, it is. Now, I think I will need to refresh Godbert and one other token. So I will... Godbert and Skullplate, bear with me a second. And yes, you won't be able to see anything.
That's fine.
Boy, howdy. Is this cave dark this time of year?
Skullplate and I both have night vision, so...
I have night vision.
Yes, and that is on your tokens. Once we update you... Does anyone else have night vision that has not been added?
Nope.
Nope.
Not me.
Okay. So, I will say, stepping inside the cave, a small pinprick of light is up ahead of you. Celep and Skullplate, you can make out a few more details at this point. I believe Wilfred having night vision too. Is that correct?
It is correct. I do have night vision.
Yes. Doink. You can make out a little more. At this point, Godbert and Lothar, hand on one of your shoulders, will be following closely behind. If it weren't for this light up ahead, it would be pitch black, but up ahead you can see two goblins around a fire. The cave continues past this, both left and right, and in a similar shrill voice the two of them are bickering.
Hey, well, how long do you think they're gonna be? I'm hungry.
The two bicker back and forth.
I would like to try and sneak up on them.
I'm going to change out my spear for my knuckle dusters. This is a closer environment.
Okay.
But I ain't going to sneak anywhere because I can't see my own feet.
Yes. I will ask a challenging perception, I will say, from the two of you that are going further forward. Actually, no, just anyone that wants to roll me a challenging perception if you're paying attention.
Challenge. Apparently I'm not.
It is difficult when one can't see where one is going.
Ooh, pretty cave. I like this cave. It's a good cave.
It's a good cave.
Well,
Godbert.
Despite me not seeing anything,
You could read a book
You can
down here.
clearly hear something, Godbert. Up ahead, it is not just two goblins bickering. There is more voices behind them, further away, but a dozen, perhaps. You can hear a few of them cheering, softly. But you are certain that these two are not alone in here.
looks like there's more than a scouting party.
Perfect. More film will be to kill.
I can't see shit, so I'm just keeping my hand on your shoulder. Or, sorry, that's your hair, your shoulder. Oh, sorry, that's your nose. Sorry, your shoulder. Yeah, oh, there we go.
So, up ahead, we have our two goblins arguing. Bickering back and forth, deciding when their hog is going to be delivered, and arguing over who's going to be able to eat the rump. Or, maybe, no, let's change that to the knuckle, because it's their favourite. Wilfred, you're going to have to roll me a stealth test, please.
What level of stealth?
Oh, they are arguing, so we'll make it average, and that will be opposed by them. But they'll have a penalty. A decent roll from yourself, that will be enough for you to approach quietly, getting into position to take fire.
My pistol ready? My crossbow pistol, not my regular pistol. Not yet.
Okay.
And I will, I'd like to signal Skullplate that I'm ready.
Okay. The rest of you? Now, I will say, looking forwards, Lothar, although you can't see where you are particularly well, you can see where the light is coming from. Likewise for Godbert and, well, Celip, you have some degree of vision in here. So, we have Skullplate pushed forwards. Is anyone else joining him?
I'm following him.
I assume I've got my hand on someone's shoulder.
I hope so. Hopefully not a goblin's.
That would be inconvenient.
Skullplate, the same for yourself. An average stealth test, please.
Stealth.
Do I need to do stealth as well, as we're being pulled along by them?
If you're trying to move forward, yes. That is enough.
Yeah.
One of the reasons the stealth test is necessary is the ground in here is particularly moist. Unpleasantly so, as it sticks to your boots. Average.
Is that average?
That's not average.
Would have still failed.
That's -2.
Ooh. I think I will re-roll that. Oops. No, I won't. I have to click the wrong thing. There we go.
Right.
Still pretty bad.
I'll modify
Although
that.
I'm just shuffling forwards.
And I'm going to roll. You're fine. Okay. You get into position. Lurking in the shadows, the two of them not paying any attention to you, but continuing to bicker.
Oh, I hate standing work. Oh, well, look at all the entrance and stuff. That's not fun. I want to do some fighting.
Okay.
And so,
Seeing as he said that, Wilfred's already signalled that he's ready.
yep.
I start running without any sort of noise as much as I can. So obviously with the noise of running feet, but I'm not shouting and screaming.
Yep.
Straight into the back of this one.
Yep.
And I charge him from behind, and hopefully Wilfred will shoot.
This is an initiative roll for him
I will fire my crossbow pistol.
to see if he can detect your approach. Wilfred, you will get your free shot. You'll be able to have had time to aim it as well. So, you can have a +40 in total.
You know what? I'm gonna re-roll that.
Apologies to the stream that the tokens don't update as often as they should. I will have to get used to all tabbing between these two bloody screens. Curses. On the plus side, you can't see my GM notes, which is nice. Right, now we have all the dice in the world. Doink, doink, doink. Skullplate, you can make your... I'm going to need an initiative test for the hammer again. Because he passed his, he turns around to see what that step was that was moving toward him. You still have the opportunity to attack him first.
Average or challenge?
I'll say it's an opposed test, so challenging. But his roll's pretty bad. And this is really... Yeah, you're fine. You can attack him first. Even though you've got a slow, bulky weapon, you're still able to get sufficient drop on him. And you can make your attack. You'll have the charging bonus, but no surprise condition, so you're +10. Nice. That is a very tasty roll. And he is going to defend with a hand weapon, which is not such a good roll. And with that, it could even be one dead goblin. You can make a second attack as you swipe through him, now with a +20.
So he just got moved into the wall next to him. He's now part of that wall. And I'm a plus...
Yep.
Plus what, sorry?
+20 now.
The injured goblin.
Where's the injury? Badly jarred arm. +7. I mean, it's just a waste of time rolling for this poor guy, but we'll see what happens. Donk. Donk. Splat. Near silently. As silent as one can be, considering you are wielding two-handed hammer. You now have two green, messy puddles in front of you. One against a wall, the other crushed into the floor. And the rest of you can see and hear. Now that you've moved further forward, the cheering is slightly louder. Perhaps not a dozen, perhaps 2 dozen.
Is it coming from the left or right?
Both. Simultaneously.
Perfect. More grubby to kill. Today is a good day.
Godbert. Grim had informed you of a goblin cave where he'd found some madcap mushrooms.
Yeah.
I'm
looking for them.
Can you roll me whichever roll you feel is appropriate? Yeah, I mean, if you just want to... Yeah, let's go with that. It is dark, but you're by a fire now, so for your immediate vicinity will be an average roll to survey the mushrooms around you.
No,
I will say what makes it difficult is that there are so many mushrooms. Every crevice, nook and cranny within this cave is full of them.
I'll just gather up a handful of anything.
Okay.
I just want to say, it's not like we bring actual silver back on this tour, so might as well fill the bags with mushrooms.
There are a variety of different ones. Some red, some brown, some striped, some spotted.
Some are goblins.
Perhaps.
Yeah, accidentally stuff a goblin into the bag.
Well, I would say, Godbert, as you pull one out of the ground, its stalk has arms and legs attached to it.
Squish it.
Okay. It was, in effect, a small goblin fetus, if you will.
Snotling. I yeet it across the cave into the wall.
It makes a small squeaky toy noise as you do. Now, for the small matter of the amount of noise coming from down the corridor. Who is listening and who is creeping? And who is doing what?
I would like to creep towards that other source of light down the hall to the right.
Okay.
I would like to break little pieces of rock from the wall and inspect those.
Okay. Lord
I'm going to be
Geology,
looking down
please.
the left-hand branch
Okay.
towards these
Challenging?
3 boys.
Average, Philip, as you'll take a little bit of time, safe in the knowledge that your allies will die first.
Well done.
I will say the thing that gets in your way... Who needs
say?
fortune? Silver! There's loads of silver. So,
Look at that! How did that
effectively, there was... The stinging in your nose also is clouding your vision a little bit, so you simply wipe some of the excess tears out of your eyes. You know this from the goblin stench that is famous for being offensive to the dwarven nose. And upon clearing your vision, you can see the silver veins running up the wall right next to you.
Okay, so we just got rich. He mumbles to himself.
And so, Wilfred, an average stealth test. Skullplate the same. There is a sticky quality to the ground as it clings to your boots, making it somewhat tough to move through completely silently. However, no one even cares, despite the fact you rolled 95.
They're too busy.
Yeah, I'll say, Wilfred, you get a little bit of trouble moving along. The dirt sticking to your boots and your small stature slows you down slightly, but Skullplate able to quickly free your leg with a small kick. In front of you are lots more goblins. There is perhaps 3 of them gathered around a fire here. But to your right, there is something slightly more concerning. Behind a small fence, there is what you could describe a pen. And you've seen snotlings before, and you've heard the group tell tale of the small swarm of furious critters. You could even describe this as a children's pen, a children's play area, a nursery. But it's full of dozens and dozens of snotlings. The three goblins are bickering. Much like the others, but a different topic.
I don't want to listen to that. No, I don't want to go. I reckon we stays here and we eats them.
To your
Can I
left.
see
Yeah.
the door of the pin?
No. It is pretty much just a solid gate. You could, a normal-sized human at least, could just stand and step over it. It's about 3 feet tall. Enough
I will,
to keep these in check, at least.
I have an idea. I will go sneak back over to Skullplate, and I will point towards where the gate is and make a smashing motion as to free them on the goblins.
And I'm just going to shake my head. I'm not opening that. I'm not opening that gate so the snotlings can jump all over me.
I will say to your left is where the majority of the noise is coming from now you've moved forwards. Although these three are bickering, this is not the loud cheering that you can hear. That's coming more from, well, where Lothar is currently peering. Lothar, can you roll me an average perception, please? And some information will be free regardless. Same for you, Godbert.
Huh, finally.
Finally.
That was challenging, right?
Yeah.
No, average, wasn't it?
Sorry, average, yes. They are shouting. Alright. Lothar. You can see a good number of goblins. A very good number of goblins. It's difficult to say if you can even see all of them, but one in particular stood almost on top of a fire with a large staff with a half-moon crescent end. Is currently giving some form of goblin speech to them. You make out a few words. It's not necessarily in the human tongue, but you make out a few words. These include, "We will get it back. We will get it back from those gits. We will claim what was taken."
I'm guessing they don't see me.
Not at the moment. They are near enough all facing in the direction of this large, let's just call it a boss-like character. Twice the size of the other goblins easily. And very few are paying any attention to your direction. Skullplate, I would say you can hear this, although it's difficult to make out the words from where you are. And Celep, there's so much silver.
So much silver. I'm completely focused on the silver right now. I don't even notice what the other guys are doing. I'm prospecting.
Fair enough.
I'm going to look at Wilfred and point at Celep. Get him.
I will sneak over to Celep and tell him, or motion, that there's more grubbies to kill.
Okay. One other thing catches your eye, Skullplate, as Wilfred turns around, and that is a door the other side of this tunnel. Difficult to see on the map, but I'll briefly put your token there. That's where the door is. And for the viewers, well, you can see it too. Marvellous. There is a small amount of light coming through the other side. Evidently a door, just given the small slits of light creeping through that have a slightly green and red hue to them. And so, party of adventurers, what are you doing?
Okay, so I'm gonna sort of hunker down and whisper to Wilfred and Celeb, and for the sake of viewers, I'm not going to whisper it. There's a big group of grubby that way. There's a small group here, and there's probably more on the other side of that rock. There might be something that could come through the door there. Now, we can't sneak around and kill these forever. They're going to rush us at some point. But I say we take down those three as quietly as we can, and then we can move up and try and take them out. Keep our eye on the door when we're fighting them.
Well, sneaking ain't really my strong point, but if each one of us picks one and we charge them, that should work, right?
Well, we don't want any charging just yet. I think Wilfred and I can probably take out these three. Celeb, make your way over to the other two. Tell them what we're doing. And be ready
Sneaking,
to-
murdering, and then doing the rest. Roger.
Wilfred.
Hello.
Are you ready?
Let us do it.
All right, let's go over to that rock as quietly as we can to the upper left, and we'll make our move from there.
Yes.
Okay, so we want to sneak over this way.
Challenging now. Stealth test, I'm afraid. Oh, we can ignore the camera's roll. Apparently, the goblins just don't care. Another roll of 98. The two of you get there easily. The three of them bickering to the point that they simply don't acknowledge that you're moving. You think you could probably jump up and down and you'd be fine.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
We touch on, briefly, what Lothar and Godbert are up to.
What do you reckon we should do? I mean, there's quite a lot of them, and I can't see shit here. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Here's one of the shorter dudes. So, Celeb, what's going on?
Celeb instructs you as to the others and their plan, and it seems that they're going ahead.
Well, that's probably going to make a lot of noise right quick and in a hurry. We could wait to see if they succeed.
Yeah, maybe,
See, I've got a trap on me, an animal trap, which I'm thinking I could set here as it looks like, from what I can actually just about see,
Yep.
that this cave narrows down where I am. So if I were to put this animal trap down here, it may catch one as he comes through, the rest may pile into him. We could kick the fire at them, as they're probably not going to like that, and then land on them once they're coming through.
sounds like a cunning plan.
Sounds like desperation, but it's all I got.
Might have some tricks that will help, but we'll see, and it's the best we can do now.
Well, there's a big one at the other end with a fancy-looking stick who seems to fancy himself their leader, so
Yeah.
if you've got any tricks that can interrupt him, that would be great. Because I've got nothing I can do to him at that range. Unless he wants to come running over here to ask. I mean,
It depends
unless
if you
can
want
hit
to.
him. That's pretty got a sling about you.
No. But do we want to wait until they move towards the others, or do you want to lure them here?
No, we'll wait for them to move. If the others make a lot of noise and they start to go that way, we'll just charge into the back of them. But I am going to set the trap up.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. The trap is set. Let's, do you have outdoor survival or something like that, Lothar, just to measure the effectiveness of the trap?
I do. What difficulty do you want me to put it in?
Average, seeing as, well, there is a little bit of tension. But I'd say it's still a relatively simple task. Okay. The trap is set. You would think that there is a chance something will step on it, but equally, given something a stride length, there is also an opportunity
Turn to run straight over it.
that it might run over it. But
best I go.
you've done the best you can. And so, it would seem at this point that we will be turning back to Skullplate and Wilfred as they attempt to take out a small party of goblins with the assistance of Celeb. And I think that's where we're going to take a 5-minute bio break.
Bugger.
Because we all need some ale. And our dwarves want to charge, but, you know, I think they should wait for it. See you in 5 minutes, chitty chat. See you in 5. Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are with a lot of goblins, and a few players that are deciding how to deal with said goblins. Lothar, Godbert, Celeb, what's the plan?
I modified it slightly. I'm going to use Celeb's length of rope across the gap as well, with Yoris holding on to that so that they trip over as they come through. Celeb's going to use his halberd on the fire to scoop that over any ones that come through, and then it's going to be free-for-all.
I'll say you'll probably need to move one of the rocks in order to tie the rope around it.
Mm-hmm.
Roll me a strength test, please. Average.
Oh, I'll come over for that. I help.
Average strength.
Well, you're going well.
This is so you've got something to actually sort of latch the rope around.
Oh, you saw that roll for 20. Sorry. Probably not a good idea to burn them, but not much better.
Doesn't he get a bonus from me helping him?
Yeah, plus 10.
That's not enough.
Still not enough.
Quite enough. I will say it's difficult to find something to latch it onto. Two of you could probably hold it, or you could put it try and put it underneath the rock, but then you're going to lose the potential angle you're looking for. There are some branches, logs behind you, perhaps somewhat lighter.
Could we jam some of those in between the rocks to then tie the rope to?
Yes. I'll allow you to do
Make
so,
it like a post.
but I'm going to ask you to roll a stealth test for this.
Yep.
Because
Okay.
effectively you're just making an industry out of their cave.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'll have it opposed by a difficult test. I'll roll it by the camera. There you go. You're fine. Still not paying attention, although it does sound like the speech is starting to wrap up at this point. A few of them are conversing instead of just listening. Time is perhaps running out, but you are able to tie the rope around. Godbert, are you holding on to this rope at the other end?
Yep. I'm waiting for them to come and then pull it tight.
Okay. And Celeb, where are you
Sure.
off to?
I'm standing next to the fire, prepared to toss embers and coal and ash and thorn.
So this leaves Skullplate and Wilfred. Hopefully taking down these three and not attracting all of them to their side instead of yours. However, after you, Skullplate, after you.
I was going to say, Wilfred, have you got range from where you are?
Nope, I need to get a bit closer.
Okay.
It's a big cave.
It's a 10 something range.
Okay, so we should move up, but the GM was about to say something.
I feel that your plan is absolutely perfect. So I ask, who
That's
makes the
fucking crap, don't trust him.
first move?
Okay, so first of all, we need to move up slowly so that Wilfred can get in range.
I think the ranges are
A little bit off.
proper.
You could probably shave a little bit off of that.
Probably to about here.
In terms of what you've been listening to, Godbert and Lothar and Skullplate, the final parting words as the speech is wrapping up from this night goblin, the other side of the cave, is barking orders to gather more food. They need to raise more of them. And the bickering then breaks out between them. So, Skullplate, Wilfred, Lothar, Celeb. Who's making the first move here in this?
I'm going to charge in the goblin that I have targeted.
Okay.
Once again, there'll be no battle cries, no yelling, just a simple sprint across the open
Yep.
ground.
This is just to see if they notice you, because they never will. That's just off, so you can make your attack with a plus. This plus 40 for this one. I'm just going to move you off of his face so I can still select him.
I'll put it on challenging and put an extra 30 on.
And Wilfred, you can make your attack.
Would you say a goblin's about as big as a dwarf?
About so. Similar. Certainly more scrawny.
I'd be getting bonuses for size, too.
They're still, they're still a regular size human, unfortunately.
Yes, but I am small.
Yeah, I find that strange comparatively, but...
no, that's only in melee.
So,
bigger than you.
What bonus?
I've just hit the goblin.
You have just hit the goblin, and that will be easily one dead goblin. You crunch it square in the centre of the body with your two-handed hammer. Stepping forward, you have another advantage, and you may swing again, now with a plus 20. I don't know where the extra 1 for the advantage came from. You should be on 2 by now. So...
it's because I changed it.
No worries. A charge and a hit. So you have one more attack to make against another goblin soldier. And we've got Wilfred's crossbow pistol. That's a pretty reasonable hit. Not quite enough to slay it, I would say. We'll come to his reaction in a moment to see if he survives this. And skullplate... yeah, none of these noticed your arrival. Smack, smack, and... one more to go. Yeah, I will say you were kind of dancing around a fire at this point. You technically... he's a square out. I will say if you can pass an athletics test that is with your advantage, I'll allow it.
Athletics.
Because normally it's the adjacent square only, so we're gonna just bend it a little bit here to make that...
with the current advantage...
with your plus 30.
My plus 30. So I need to change that to 3 advantage. Alrighty.
I will say not quite.
Hold on.
Everyone's using all their rerolls. This is just going to be glorious.
Okay, well, never mind.
From your side, Lothar, you can hear a high-pitched squeal of a goblin, as it seems to have been pierced by something. Drawing the attention of all of those that you are looking at, I will ask how you respond. Their eyes clearly drawn to the right, where the noise has come from.
Shout at them.
Okay. Do you want to make a charm roll or an intimidate roll? Should we go for intimidate just to see how much attention you can get?
Yep. What am I against? Challenging?
We'll go average purely because you can just be as loud as you want to.
Yep.
And that is okay. So I
over-egged it.
Yeah, you may have over-egged that a little bit, as effectively we're now in combat, and we will roll a glorious initiative, but bear with me a second while we roll for all NPCs. Roll all. That is a lot of dudes. Right. And
each snuttling individually.
That is a lot. Bear with me. There we go.
These are going to be some impressive turns.
Why am I last? I'm behind the big snutlings.
You got -8. -8.
What were you doing?
I don't know what he's doing. Right, we're going to have some dramatic music.
Ooh, embers.
He's got lost in the flames.
Okay, and I will say, Wilfred, the one that you've hit with your crossbow pistol is sort of reaching towards its side to look what's just struck it, and then looking in front of it to see a big hairy dwarf stood right next to it holding a two-handed hammer. It's reaching on its back for its bow. Coming charging towards you, Lothar. Now, I won't trigger the trap once and then it's done. This will be the first of them to go into the trap. And it's going to... I think what I'll do is put this down to something like a difficult athletics test. I'll say it's hard. The first one is gonna fumble effectively over it and just fall on its face. Godbert, can you make me? I'll make you make this roll for all of them, Godbert. A challenging strength test. This is to see how many of them you can get. Because if you get like 5 goblins run into this, you're going to need all of your old man strength for this.
I think I will use a reroll. I want to do.
You will use a reroll.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That is better. Okay. Godbert is Horo. Hold the rope. Now, this one being the closest to you, I think there is going to be a couple that go to the east, but the vast majority, given your role, Lothar, are going to be going toward you. Now, this one is going to see Skullplate, is going to charge, and it's going to try and give you a little cheeky stab from behind. So, we're going to roll a dagger, charging, dual wielding, and a little bit of a rear charge bonus here. Right, let's have your defense, Skullplate.
Just a standard challenging.
Yeah, well, that will be with your plus... you would have still had plus 30, sorry.
Oh, so that
Yeah, I mean, you did fail the athletics test, but I don't think that's enough to reduce all of it, so I'll give you that 6. 92. It is still going to hit you in the butt, though. However, it's only a dagger, he says. As he scratches you, a small amount of damage done, a small, perhaps, hopefully not poisoned dagger enters the side of you.
What? Okay. Not sure why it won. -2 versus my +2.
Because his first attack was +5. That was his second attack that got -2.
Oh, okay.
And so, we now move to one of many goblins. Oh, okay.
Hey! Who's here? Right. Open the door!
Barks some orders to one of the other goblins and begins chanting loudly in some greenskin language. Now, not familiar with what this is going to do. You don't know what's happening, but you've certainly heard people saying words you don't like in combat before that led to terrible things. Right, we're going to have another goblin sprinting down here, Lothar. He's going to make another difficult test as well, or another hard test, -20, to see if he can get over and charge you. Just about manages to tiptoe over the rope. What we're going to do now, I will give him... I'll allow you a readied action, so given what you've just done, it's technically not your turn, so I will say this one catches you slightly off guard, but basically you're being charged. In a nutshell, and we're going to roll a simple hand weapon against yourself, challenging, and off you go to defend. Okay, that is, I think, a victory for yourself. Congratulations. You successfully parry this goblin's crooked blade to one side. Wilfred, it's you to go.
I will charge the near-dead goblin.
You charge the near-dead goblin. Marvellous.
I will hit it with the boat hook.
Yep. My screen is going to be covered in dice rolls for a second. Don't worry, audience.
Any bonuses for that?
10 for the charge. And it's also looking at Skullplate, so another 10 for stabbing it in the side.
Alright. And it looks like for the advantage, too, from hitting it.
Yes, and plus 10 for the hit from ranged. Okay. Very, very tasty. Easily a dead goblin.
Smasher strikes again.
18 damage, Jesus. A mauled bicep, slicing its arm off as it goes to reach for its bow. You stand atop of his corpse, triumphant.
Now, do I get to chain attacks too, like skull plate upon kill, or?
The other one is not next to him, so I'm gonna have to say nay because it's a complete change of direction for yourself.
Okay.
I will have to say nay for now. Another Lothar comes in your direction. Another hard athletics roll. Another falls flat on its face. Straight in front of you, Horo, holding your rope well. To your right, Wilfred, the small little critters behind the fence start working themselves into a frenzy. Some of them clawing, climbing, gnawing, and biting at the fence in front of them. It seems like it will hold them for some time, but looking to your right, there is simply a field of green skins.
The mushrooms are getting angry.
Indeed. Right. Yeah, apologies to the stream for the wonky camera. This is a little bit of a tricky one for me to try and work out. I think we'll go back to the old system next time because it stores up dice rolls like this and then doesn't do stuff. So, next goodnight, Goblin. Over here. Right, you are going to run down south and try to kind of run out of space. I'm going to give one more of them an opportunity to jump through as they all go through side by side. This one I'm going to give a slightly harder athletics roll to as it charges down here. Right, that is another one on its face. Actually, that's the more appropriate one to do. There you go. So only one of those is there. Anyone wanting to stand up will have to use its movement. This one is going to run around the side. Sorry, stream, you won't be able to see. This one is going to... What do you have? You have a short bow. This one's going to run up to a door and begins to fiddle with said door. Godbert, you're holding the rope well. It is your turn. What is your plan? You've currently snared 3 goblins.
Is there a way to throw the rope around them or something? Or
I would say you've got your side to the wall, so that it's going to be a little bit tricky. Okay. You could probably try and quickly loop it around one of their necks or something and pull it tight.
Yeah, that sounds like an idea. The closest
like
one.
a quick flick of the wrist around them and then yanking it again. So,
yeah.
Oof. Should we just do a challenging dex roll to see if you can effectively entangle one of them with this rope?
I wouldn't know anything else to do. Yeah.
I can't think of anything else. It's hand-eye coordination, really, that's going to be...
Yep. It's either athletics or dexterity, and they're both pretty much the same. So.
I'll go with dex for this, because it's going to be a little bit more finesse required to flick the rope in the right angle that it goes around its head.
Exactly the same, actually.
There you go. Okay, I will say, for the goblin in front of you, directly by the floor, you slacken the rope for a second, flick it round its head, making it slightly easier, the fact that it has a pointed hat. You then pull it tight again, and in front of you, the goblin is now effectively being strangled.
Dangling with his feet above the ground.
Exactly.
Kicking
Exactly.
the goblins in the face.
Exactly. Lothar.
This one that stood in front of me, he's the only one standing, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to...
Yeah, the one that was stood there has kind of disappeared on my screen. Oh no, now he's back.
Still there. Yeah, he's still there.
Now he's magically appeared again.
I didn't charge, but I did get the one advantage from winning the defensive roll.
That's so weird. He's invisible on my player screen, but he's not invisible on... Okay, so the viewers can't see him, but you can. That's so trippy. Fine.
I think, looking at chat, it looks like they can see what I can see for some reason.
It's not quite true. They're seeing a camera view. I know what they can see. It's... okay. You do still win. 6 damage applied. A reasonable strike. It raises its shield to defend against you, Lothar, but you still manage to pierce its left hip. Lets out a small shriek of pain and sneers at you.
Ah! Come at me! Who, me?
Eventually Doc will get a go, but not yet. Another goblin is going to reposition.
We're still playing.
Another goblin is going to reposition. Skullplate kind of started by the charge. That was a surprise round, so sure, Skullplate. You've got one right next to you right now.
Oh, it's gonna die. I lost all my advantage, didn't I? So yeah, it's just normal.
Just a normal one now. It's going to... I don't know why it rolled twice, but it decided to. Okay, unfortunately, not a successful hit for yourself. It's 2 daggers, seemingly hard defense to break. More scratching comes from your right, Wilfred. The small little critters clawing and tearing away at the barricade by your side. Some of them starting to climb on top of others, gnawing and chewing their way through. Celeb. How's it going, buddy?
Yeah. I don't think I should actually throw embers in the general direction of the goblins right now. There's kind of two humans in the general vicinity of the target.
Do it. Do it.
It's problematic when Ungi getting a good Dowie's plan, but...
I mean, in the end, Lothar told Celeb to do that, right? So who am I to disagree? I'm a toss. I'm a dig my halberd into the campfire and yeet.
Okay, I'm gonna have a dex roll to see if you can avoid hitting your allies.
Dex roll.
I mean, it's going to be hitting me in the back and chainmail.
I would say I'll do a dex roll, but we'll add in whatever you've got for melee two-handed, which I think is 1 point, if I'm correct. I don't think you've got 2 points in melee polearm. Okay, so roll me a dex because you know this is this is hand-eye coordination for you, yeah, and something you're good at too. Fairly good at, I should say. And I would give you your +2, which is still 1 shy. 1 shy.
If you use a fortune point, you get 1 success.
Well, it doesn't turn a fail to a success though, but it does give +1 SL, which is weird.
Yeah, but it will turn a no into a no but.
Exactly. Exactly.
He hasn't got any anyway.
Okay. I will say, in that case, I'm going to roll a dice to see which one of your allies, because you didn't do too badly. On a 1 to... I'm going to say 1 to 30, Lothar. No, 1 to 40, Lothar. 41 to 80, Godbert. And on an 80 plus, you got lucky.
Well,
that's a little bit...
Right, it was his idea.
So, Godbert, I think a few charcoals are going to be arriving onto your butt.
Oh,
sorry, it was Lothar, was it? My mistake.
Yeah.
Unfortunately...
It's hitting chain anyway, so it's not going to bother me that much.
Yes. Unfortunately, though, it will do 1 point of damage and remove your advantage. which
a piece of ember running down your neck.
Which sucks a little bit. For the goblins, I will have them roll a agility test just to see how well they cope with it. I probably could have gone with willpower. I will go with willpower, but I'll just minus a bit from what they rolled. Okay. Three of them, all three at the front, are effectively now trying to sort of pat their own clothing, aside from the one, obviously, that's being strangled right now by Godbert. The other two, then, are frantically trying to remove the burning embers and coals from them, as a few of them have stuck and lodged themselves into their clothing. So, Lothar, you're going to have a pretty easy time of stabbing these. First one is currently trying to get the stuff off of him, so he's not going to be doing anything. Next up, we have one against Skullplate. Let's see how we do here. Oh, rolling on the wrong window. Okay. It's going to have a bonus of 10. It's going to go up to 20 with his advantage. And he's going to use dual wield. Let's have your defense, Mr. Skullplate. Oh, that's a critical.
Oh dear. I've got an advantage here. I shouldn't have.
Yeah, that should be gone. So, standard roll, please, to defend.
Alrighty.
And not a success. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Critical first. Ruptured ligaments. You immediately drop whatever is held in your hand and suffer a torn muscle injury to your arm. And that will be... you can use a resilience to avoid that. Failing that, you effectively drop your hammer.
Yep. I'll use a resilience.
You're going to use a resilience to avoid the ruptured ligament. Okay. So the ruptured ligament doesn't happen. You avoid the effect. What we now do is apply the damage still. Yeah. It is only a dagger, though. And you do have a halfling next to you. Okay. Another 2 blows. A flurry of stabs make their way into the side of your body, your arm, and you find yourself with small gashing wounds all over you, leaking blood, leaking your life force. Wilfred, to your side, looking concerned. Right. Now we go back to the panic stations with... another bad roll. Coming from a shaman. And I think... yeah, in front of you, Lothar, this one is effectively trying to remove the charcoals from his body. So, Wilfred, it's you to go. You can, right in front of you, a goblin is laying into your friend.
That's just not nice of him. I'm going to do him a service and remove the goblin.
Okay. You may make a roll. You outnumber this creature quite considerably. You will have a charge bonus. You will have a side of plus 40 in total, with all things included. And we will make our defense. That is a decent roll. And that's certainly enough to knock it off of its stance. Gaining momentum against Skullplate, you're able to slide in between its defense, stabbing it, catching the side of its neck. Suddenly things look a little bit less dangerous, but I would remind you to your right, this fence is starting to buckle. This one is currently being strangled, and it's covered in charcoal. I'm going to simply make a roll to see if it faints from the pain. No, well, not just from the pain, from the fact it's being strangled. So, God, but the one in front of you effectively goes limp. You're pretty sure that it's a goner. Right. This one was stood behind, but yeah, it was tripped, so it's going to use its movement to stand up. It's going to stand and do a defensive stance because it doesn't have a movement anymore, so that's all it's got. These three are going to 50-50. 1 to 50, they were going to go down south, so coming charging to here, defensive stance. And this one has now opened a door. Wilfred, to your left, a door creaks open and you hear a very uncomfortable roar and rumble coming from within. Godbert, an apology stream. I know you're having trouble seeing everything as it happens. I will have to try and factor in how the hell to avoid this in future. As I'm recording, I need another monitor, basically. But anyway, Godbert, what's up?
Yes. Is the rope still useful?
Yes.
Then I will continue using the rope. Not really anything I can do other than that, I think.
Sure.
Maybe I can hit one with my staff if I can reach.
Certainly an option. There's one that's currently trying to stab Lothar that you could probably have a good whack at with your pole.
Yep.
I would say you can hear some coming behind you at this point as well.
Yeah, but Celeb's there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that would be this one, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any bonus?
I will say, because I don't think the one on the left is technically attacked yet, so I believe you outnumber, so plus 20. It's a little close range for a charge bonus, but let's see how he fares in defense.
Yep.
That's using his shield to defend. A fairly reasonable roll, plus 1. Does seem that he'll be able to parry you.
Yep.
But he is outnumbered, something I need to remember by the end of the round. Lothar, it is you to go.
As he is trying to brush all the embers off him and panicking about burning, I'd like to take a step back and swap to grab my spear so I can jab at him.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to step particularly far away. It's not like I charge him. It's just like step back far enough to be able to actually use my spear.
Sure. And a narrative step back.
Yeah, basically.
It's sure. I like it still. I like it. Tactical, strategic.
Courtesy of Celeb, I have no advantage, so...
Plus 20, though, for outnumbering, I will say. We'll factor that in after. Absolutely fine for a plus 3. And we will roll for this delicious goblin. Who does not succeed.
So I need to just line up a bit.
Yep, I'll get him to take another couple of wounds. Right, nearly slaying the creature. You lunge your spear into the centre mass of his body and impale him for a moment, drawing it out. You can see a portion of his abdominal cavity gushing out in front of you onto the floor. He's still barely standing, though, and looks particularly angry. Right. Running around the corner, Celeb, is another goblin. This one holding a short bow. He's going to run around and, well, he's going to try his luck at shooting you fairly close. Now, it is only a short bow, thankfully, which is going to really help you. Because, Jesus, that's still only an average roll. And sorry, I need to target you first. I haven't used a short bow in quite a while.
Do I notice him coming around the corner since there are now two behind me?
They're loud. They are very loud. Straight.
Can I influence his roll with an intimidation attempt?
Unfortunately, a ranged attack cannot be opposed until your turn. So you will be able to, but ranged attacks are unopposed, unless point blank.
Right.
I love the idea, though, but I would need to change.
Embers left and just going and throwing some embers up, scary red burning dwarf scary screaming.
I would say if you had a fortune to use, I would allow it, but unfortunately, nay. Now that's also a critical on you. So if you burn a point of armor, you will not have to go through bruised ribs. So your chest.
That's what I got the armor for.
Exactly. Now, you do still take those 2 wounds from the crit, and you do still take an arrow into your centre mass, causing a fair degree of pain. Another one comes round. A defensive action is done. Skull plate. In front of you is a night goblin.
I'm fed up with this wee bastard.
Okay.
That's not my advantage because of the little, right. Die.
You do have plus 20 for outnumbering him, and, well, let's see how he does. We'll add your 20 in afterwards, because...
Little bastard.
Okay, that's a definite defense for him. Okay. 1 or 2 snotlings by your side begin to creep and crawl their way over the wall, starting to fumble as they do so. They then try to steady themselves and begin moving towards you, Wilfred. Celeb, it is you to go.
It is I.
In front of you are 2 goblins readying their shields in a defensive manner, I would say.
Well, I would say it is time for intimidation. But I will not only intimidate, I try to intimidate all 3 of them.
Yep.
Which one was the resource I have to spend to guarantee a net 1?
A resilience.
Then that is what I will do. I will spend 1 resilient point.
Well, let's roll the dice first, because you might roll at that one.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, I've seen Stranger Things.
Yeah, Thor, whenever he's complaining about rolls.
Yeah.
Well,
it was a 1 in there.
There was a 1 there, and it was a perfectly natural roll. A perfectly natural one. Okay, so that's actually fair. Okay, I now feel less bad about you losing a resilience to this. I will give you the fact that it'll be an opposed test, but I want to see how badly this goes for them. That's a bit of a failure, but yours will be a very good success. So, sure. All 3 of them at this point.
I mean, there's a dwarf standing with an arrow in his chest, having a burning helmet covered in embers and glowing red hair, shimmered from fire from all sides, from embers on the ground, and he's just grunting at the dwarf. I mean, I would shit my pants if I was a goblin.
I would say that, absolutely. Combined with the fire by your side, probably casting a large, colossal shadow by the floor. Among the noise you're making from an arrow sticking out of your chest. Yeah.
It makes pain noises, but it sounds very, very different in this situation.
With a new round, this night goblin is going to try and step in and get a cheeky hit on you. He has finally removed embers from himself and is going to
Hello.
take a cheeky little swing at you, Lothar.
Yes, I see him. I should have had an advantage, shouldn't I? Because I hit the other one.
Yes, you did.
Let me just correct that. There we go, done.
Okay.
Right buttons.
With a -5, I think you'll be okay. You now have 2 advantage. Right.
Thank you.
Okay. We now move forwards in the initiative order to another night goblin. He's been stabbed in the side by Wilfred. Despite the fact that he does have animosity towards dwarfs, so he's still going to attack the dwarf. Dual wield. Okay. Oh, good lord.
Thank God for that.
Well, the first one's +5.
Yeah, that's a dual wield.
Yes. That is still damage, but a lot less thanks to your roll. So probably only a couple are going to make their way through. Another small nick for you. Skull plate. Gradually, you can feel you're starting to fatigue here. This is a lot of blood that you're starting to lose. Apologies while I bring up my initiative order again, because I keep losing it. Yeah, sure. This guy's going to continue to do what he was been doing the whole sodding time. And, oh my god. Okay. Okay, wow, he just face palms. Not that anyone here can see it, given how busy you are, but up over yonder, this goblin that is chanting some words has a fiery fist raise out from the flames and just facepalm him into the floor. For whatever reason, you have no idea what the hell has just happened, but someone somewhere has perhaps just done you a little bit of a solid. One more Night Goblin soldier here is going to... Yeah, he's going to go on you, Lothar.
Yep.
Oh no, he was attacked by Godbert, so... 50-50.
Go for it.
1 to 50, Godbert. Godbert?
Godbert then.
Yep.
Okay. 1 standard roll.
Oh,
That's a fumble.
Oh, beautiful.
That's a fumble. Oh dear. Hits himself in the
Hitting a
face.
random ally.
Oh, good lord. Okay. That's amazing. Yep. Let's have your defense, Godbert. See if you fumble as well. Maybe you can both hit an ally in the face. Okay. I think that's still... You're okay for the defense here. Oh no, he does technically get you there. If with a fortune point, you'd be fine. It's only 7 damage, but up to you.
7 damage. I'll take it.
Take it like a man.
Yeah.
Doink. As, despite the fact that he fumbles, he swipes his sword just grazing your forehead and ends up pirouetting on his left foot as his ally behind him is just standing up. He receives a blade to his forehead and is knocked clean off of his feet onto his back.
Plus 6 SL damage.
Oh, apologies, stream again. We're going to have to switch back to the old system. Basically, it doesn't update if I'm not... Oh.
If it's not focused.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a problem. I'll fix that for next time, so apologies, though, for anyone that's watching. Wilfred, this goblin has been a thorn in your balls for too long.
Thorn and skullplate balls.
Yes.
I will liberate skullplate from the goblin, since I'm assuming now the door is no longer in peril of being opened to release whatever the shaman was casting.
Oh no, the door that was separate. The door's open and there is a roaring noise coming from there.
A cave troll.
I think something with more teeth.
Alright. So, I will...
Really happy puppy.
The gobbo.
Bear with me a second. Right, that is definitely enough to yeet them. And I will say that is also enough to give you opportunity to notice to your left a small red swarm approach from said cave. And the goblin that has just opened the door is gradually engulfed by almost a swarm of small leathery balls that are of a reddish tint as they begin to chew and tear open his body in front of you. They are quite literally pouring out from this cave.
This is a problem.
I will say you still have your movement.
I would like to begin the action of, first off, telling Skullplate to go run from Leatherball.
Okay. Okay.
That will be one thing I'll do.
That is one thing you can do. You have a movement still.
I'm gonna move over to the. Actually, I want to be in line of sight of both the snotlings and the squigs.
Okay. So you're gonna go.
So about here.
Okay.
And I will start jumping up and down to get both's attention, so they both come at me.
Okay. Roll an intimidate for me. Oh, what could you do to be attractive at this point? Entertain, like, pick a skill here. I mean, feck, you've got entertain.
I'll use entertain.
It's actually, it's one of your better skills. So let's do it. Let's sure, challenging. I mean, they want to eat you anyway, but okay. You jump up and down. I will say, regardless of SL, you still gather some attention. You still look like a tasty snack. The first of the snotling swarms, climbs over the fence. Skullplate behind your heels. There's about 8 little critters that have just managed to tear through the fence. Right. Coming sprinting past you. No, actually, they'll see that there. They're going to run back that way. That guy's been eaten. Yep, you are running. Godbert, it's you to go.
He will target this guy. Let's see. Mumble something and throw something at him.
Okay.
Yeah, this is okay. This is okay. And I will use. Oh, I need a little bit more than that. Then I will reroll.
One reroll.
Yeah, one reroll. No.
Yeek.
Wrong way.
Not quite.
Guess I won't do anything then.
No corruption point reroll for you, sir.
No.
Lothar.
Not this guy.
Not this time. You want this guy to live.
Yep, I'm going to stab the one next to me.
Okay. On your left or on the middle?
I was targeting him, wasn't I?
I think you were targeting one, but it's hard for me to see.
Whichever one's the closest one to me, the one with
okay, the one without a shield as well.
Hat.
Much
Checkered
easier,
hat, two knives. I can barely see him because he's just in the darkness, so...
Okay. That looks to me like a decent hit. Okay. Let's do that opposed test. Okay. A decent amount of damage done. Another point of advantage for you. Things are looking fairly secure over here. At least thanks to, let's say, the assistance of Selep, who has sent 3 goblins as one of them goes tearing off down the corridor away from you. I will dare say he may have just saved everyone's life. Yeah, another one goes tearing off. And Skullplate, it's your turn. The snotlings are not engaged with you, but you can see out from the cave that this was probably a squig den. And there are a lot of the little buggers coming out.
So I'm going to go over to the fire. I'm going to pick up... I'm assuming that it's made of sticks, so I can just pick a stick up like a makeshift torch.
Yep.
I'll pick one of those up and I'm going to run back this way. And because those snotlings are fairly close by, I'm going to throw the stick in their general direction.
Okay, make me a. Oof, let's go with the ballistic skill. Yeah, let's go with the ballistic skill.
Do I have a ballistic skill?
You will do.
You will have a
Whether it's any
ballistic
good.
skill. You just click on the on number 26 on the bottom row of current within your main attributes.
Are your main attributes?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, so you roll in this situation. If you don't have the thing, you have to roll just the attribute. Challenging, please, but. And it's quite hard to miss a swarm. Given the size of them as well, the torch lands in the middle and at least a few of them go scarpering. I will say, by your side is another and another swarm of snotlings. Things are looking grim.
I think me and Wilfred at this point are in full sprint back this way.
Yes, it would seem so. We'll come back to you in a moment. Celeb. The 3 goblins have gone running. You quite possibly are the most terrifying thing in this room right now. Maybe.
Can I make a perception test to try to determine whether or not I should turn around, help the 2 Ungi, or run into the dark and try to help the halfling and the dwarf?
Ooh, yeah, sure. Have a free perception test or intuition, depending on...
Evaluate?
Yep. Or evaluate, sure.
If I can go for evaluate, that's my highest stat.
Let's have evaluate, because I don't think I've ever seen you roll it yet.
Oh,
He does that. Well,
Okay, everyone's fine. You could probably just leave.
oh, well then.
those corruption points then.
In that case, I will probably just turn around and just, after the entangled dickheads over here.
Yeah, just go stab one of them. Okay, you outnumber this.
Charge?
Yeah, you can have a charge. You can have your +10.
Just click the charging box.
Yep. Charging, and it's group bonus. That means I get another modifier. Or
I'll say between you and Godbert, you outnumber this guy, because he's attacking Godbert and you're attacking him. Lothar's attacking the other one, so yeah, you outnumber. So +30 in total.
lovely. 87.
A fumble for him at least. -1.
Exactly the same again.
He does have a
I failed
shield, so
hard.
you do still win. Yeah, well, you still killed him. But let's see what his fumble did. You catch a part of your... Yeah, if you didn't kill him, he killed himself. So... And you know what? Because of the angle here, you are right next to, and your weapon length, you're right next to the one next to Lothar, and you've got 2 advantage now, and you outnumber him. So...
Boy.
+40?
Oh, I get another swing?
Oh, yeah.
Death blow.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't full health, but because you charged, I'll give it.
Oh, well then.
Yeah.
+40 was that, right?
Yes.
So I have to modify.
Yeah, purely because it was a
and-
charging action, we'll go with the death blow there of, well, you charged in and just...
It fit the circumstances.
Exactly. Oh, good lord.
Yep, the goner. Ooh.
Oh, a decent roll, though. A decent attempt. Yeah, I mean, you've got to give it to the goblin for trying. Cannot oppose test due to null.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
Sam Splitby start in the post-test popping up non-stop.
Yeah.
And Splitby status round 4. I don't know what's happening. I'm
Okay.
clicking on it. I
Oh,
don't know what it
good
is.
lord. What have you done?
I'm just standing here.
12
My
damage,
intimidation
he's
is so strong.
Okay, he's dead. I don't know what you did to him, but he's well and truly dead. Fine. There is still one standing
Let's
up.
say I just cleaved them to both of them in one big old swing. That fits visually nicely.
You charge them and just skewer them on your pike bow.
Oh yeah,
Both
nice.
of them.
Impaled them
Right.
both.
This one is going to try and stand up again and takes a look to his right and... Hey! Ah! As not looking good. Oh, that reminds me. Just before it's your turn, Wilfred, it's actually not a bad thing that you rolled a negative, as this swarm goes down, and the loudest thing right now are 3 goblins running toward them that are swiftly engulfed. I'm not going to roll dice. They have just been absorbed, and I would say there are a lot more pouring out of this cave. So, Wilfred, snotlings to your right. The squigs seem to be certainly quite happy to be eating some of their owners. What's the plan?
The plan is to help Skullplate go faster.
Just roll me an athletics roll. The two of you have your turn before any of them, so effectively you can both sprint out of here.
Money if I were you.
The question is, who will win squigs versus snotlings? I think it's fairly obvious. Okay, so it's not the best sprint in the world, but I assume you're just hightailing it, right?
Yes.
Wise.
Full on head straight up.
Seeing what's happened to his mate, actually this guy just gets to stand up, and he readies an action which, given the context of the situation, is athletics, because he's about to run. Godbert, you can hear a scream drowned by another scream, drowned by a further scream the other side of the rock you are next to, as you can hear goblins being torn apart, in amongst noises of bestial biting and gnawing. You can only guess as to what's happening over there, but what are you going to do?
I'm going to let go of the rope and shout, "Let's get the fuck out of here!" And in a quite commanding voice, well, as commanding as he can manage. So maybe a leadership role, and then
Sure.
move.
Sure.
I don't know what the leadership role will do for the others, but
Oh, he'll do a thing. Clearly.
it will do nothing.
Yeah, well, you know.
And he will move over here, ready to really hightail it out of there, but just seeing the others are following, and if he can help them.
Okay. Wunderbar. Wunderbar, wunderbar. Okay. And so we move on to Lothar.
Yep. I think hearing all of that tearing and screaming and glancing back, seeing Wilfred legging it for his life and Godbert hitching up his dress to leg it out, I am probably going to follow suit.
Okay.
And also start retreating that way, keeping an eye to make sure that Selep's going to get out as well.
Certainly.
I'll just quick press note roll here. All right.
And Skullplate. Wilfred has hightailed it out of there.
I'm following.
Okay. Marvellous. And I've just figured out how to actually... Can you roll me an athletics, please?
Who? Everyone?
No, just Skullplate, as he is making his way outside. Okay. You're not quite as fast as Wilfred, but following behind him, making your way outside. The goblin that is facing you, Lothar, Selep, and Godbert, has decided it's definitely had enough of this life and is sprinting in the other direction. And you can hear an almighty battle erupt just to your north as snotlings meet with squigs.
Oh, Lord.
And I think as to who the victor of that is, we shall find out another day, but it is safe to say that there will be much bloodshed on both sides, as our group decide that perhaps this is not quite the perfect day to die, and we make our way back to our prospecting map. So, the group of you are outside. You can hear, I wouldn't say screaming, as these small creatures do not have the lungs for it, but you can certainly hear a lot of noise coming from inside. So.
Well, that was fun. I say we leave and then we come back with something that we can kill those squigs with.
Yeah.
I think one of those groomy left me a present.
And Celeb wiggles on the arrow in his chest.
Well, you said you saw silver in there, right?
Oh, plenty for the entire town.
Right, so we need to come back. But we need to come back with probably a lot more people.
With a one, all of them.
We also need to be aware of the other caves.
Yeah, do we want to check those quickly?
I don't
Not
think
now.
it fit state to check anything quickly or otherwise.
I think it'd be best if we leave. If either of those groups get out, they may take care of what's ever in the other caves.
Wilfred, at the entrance of the cave, a lone squig appears and meets you eye to eye.
I'll shoot it. I'll fucking shoot it.
Okay. Well, you can certainly do that. Bear with me a second while I give you a squig.
Target practice.
While I do it on the right sheet. Oh, God, this is getting confusing. Doink. There you go. A magical squig appears. Oh, that's right. I don't have a 3D token. Big whoop. Want to fight about it?
And the advantage is gone because we left combat, didn't we?
The advantage is most definitely gone.
Was this just challenging?
The moment has passed. It depends on the range, but I'd say average. Is this a small... Is this
the range of the pistol is pretty big.
Let me load up your pistol and find out. 20 yards. I'll say have an average. It's at the tip of 10 yards. The map lied.
Okay.
Have an average test as the squig stands still, licking its lips, a row of teeth.
How about we re-roll that? Not much better.
Okay. However, he says, no, still not enough. Despite the fact the shot misses, the squig still steps back inside, deciding that perhaps the black powder weapon is not the way it wishes to meet its doom. The squig will die another day. And so, you have a few moments. What are you to do?
Talk and walk.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Skullplate probably looks fairly cut up, so I'll offer to
Oh, yes.
heal him. Well, give him some bandages and healing.
Likewise, Celeb.
Okay. I'll assume this is done fairly hurriedly, as
Yep.
I would say some 10 seconds pass, Wilfred, before small, red, leathery creatures start appearing at the entrance of the cave, eyeballing
Challenging
you.
them?
Yes, challenging to be quick, just to staunch the blood loss.
Actually, try re-rolling that.
I need to give them an extra second. I'll shoot the
go.
pistol back in the cave again.
Okay,
to
just
see-
reload, shoot. Okay. Can you make me a... you're going to have to do a reload test for this. Like, you'll have enough time to roll it twice, but you're going to have to do a range test. So can you roll me your ranged black powder, please? Challenging.
advantage.
Challenging. You get to roll it twice.
Okay.
Because you've got about 10 seconds. And you need 1 SL. Just having fumbled your bullet for a moment, as a line of these small creatures appear again, you take fire, and they enter back inside, deciding that, well, this is not necessarily something they fancy dealing with. However, I would say you're certain that they will be back pretty soon. And so, dear adventurers, I am assuming you are doing what?
We're leaving. We're out.
We're leaving.
Celeb is hurt and tired and wants to go home.
Understood. And so, rather gingerly, the group makes their way back to town. A rather hard-fought battle, and a pretty rough one, I would say. But not a terrible outcome. No one's dead, at least.
Oh, found silver.
Yeah. we
And
found
copper.
silver. And
Indeed.
possibly some mushrooms.
And some squigs.
And
I mean, the mushrooms we found fight back, but we found mushrooms.
Yeah.
it would seem that you may have thwarted something as well, although only Mork and Gork know what. But something was happening in that cave, and, well, now it seems to just be a bunch of squigs. But there's not goblins anymore. And so, is there anything that the players are burning to do within town, other than just to drink themselves silly?
I can't see my token for some reason.
I see it.
Yeah, we're only in town at the most, so nothing is lost.
Any tokens at all?
I know.
Okay.
We can stop by the miner's pick and mention to Morgrim that we've found silver and to spread the word to the dwarves.
Yep.
And also what else we found, so we're going to have to go back in there and smoke them out or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm guessing they'd be very good. The perfect people, in fact, to
Dwarves there.
provide knowledge.
You saying that dwarves are good for subterranean warfare?
Something like that, yes.
Okay. I'll say Morgrim is exceptionally excited over this. And, do not have permission to create a new token. Ah, there we go. Doink. There you are. And, where's a bird? Doink. And there's a bird. Right. Oh, silver, you see. I'll head over to Bucky now. Not got any guests anyway. And with
I'm
that,
guessing we mark it on the map for him as well, just so he knows.
he's just like, you've said the word silver, so he's gone. He's like, I'm off to go get some dwarfs back here again.
All right, we'll leave the map on his on the bar.
Yeah, he's just like,
He's already gone.
he's gone.
It's just a dust
He's
outline.
gone. He's gone with a big grin on his face. You can sort of make it out underneath the beard.
We should make the guards aware that there may or may not be a squig problem now in the woods or in that area.
You'd probably be better off letting the Tarlites know, because the guards are just sat on their fat asses determined not to learn anything.
Let's go let the Talites know that there's a red ball problem.
Well, it sounded like they were meaning to go at the Gits. I mean, assuming that's the river Gits. So I don't know. Maybe start a goblin war. Have them kill each other.
Redskins died. I'm happy.
A bit late for the Goblin War to start now. We'll just have to deal with it.
So long as we give them a heads up to protect the town, they'll know what they're up against. They don't have to go far into the woods. If they want to fight it out between them, they can. But we should give the Tarlites a heads up.
Yep.
Okay. You head over to Yeomand, the other side of town, who greets you in. Squigs, you say? Wonderful.
But the upside is they killed a shaman and took care of the goblins for us.
And there may be snotlings. We don't know which one won.
And why do we not just collapse the cave, leave them to rot?
There's silver in that cave.
According to our dwarf, it's full of silver, which we desperately need.
I'm not even there.
Oh, we could still collapse the cave and then later get the silver. I mean,
I'm just making a lot of extra work.
oh yeah, but
Unfortunately, those things in there aren't too likely to starve out. When they come down to it, it'll just end up cannibalism.
I'll talk to your lord. I care not for precious metals and vanity. We have more pressing matters.
yeah, well,
If they come for the town, Tal will defend them.
that might be so, but a little coin would sure help all these people on their way.
Can you roll me a charm test, please?
Just flat out, I mean, I think.
Okay. Opposed by his stubbornness. I will expect a portion of that coin to be put towards proper
Oh, sure.
use,
I'll provide, so.
not mere objects of vanity. But I will speak to the trappers. Perhaps we could do with some more leather.
Well, there's a boar over there, so 2 birds in 1 stone.
Very well. We will see what we can do to assist.
Blind.
Thank you kindly.
He nods and raises his tankard up to his mouth before drinking it in a single second. He wipes the froth from his mouth before turning around and heading back inside.
Right, stall.
Indeed. And so. Bert,
Yes.
there is a little tap on your shoulder. Hey, very much to see you.
Oh, didn't smell you there. I mean, see you there. I'm over here, probably.
Soren gives you a nudge and points towards the Stracani camp before. Anyi.
What?
Lothar translates that the pretty lady that's suspiciously good looking over in the Stragani camp has been asking a lot of questions about you. Just thought you might want to know.
Really? And he sort of rearranges his clothes to look sort of smart, even if that's not possible, because he's basically wearing rags anyway. But oh, and what? Where? When?
Hey. I heard it from one of the other tavern owners.
Well, I will make sure I'll go see her then. But yeah, privately, I guess.
Oh. And Soren steps inside the Hunters Guild. Having you just walked out of there. Anyway.
So, yeah. Dudes, I have to go see a dude about a horse, so see you later. And he goes off by his own towards the Strigani.
Seluk will probably make his way towards Natasia's herbalist store and see if Lazarus is there to take care of the, pointy bit in his chest.
And the bag of mushrooms.
I'll say Natasia welcomes you in, and Ah, fucking look at you.
I think you found me a present on my chest.
Hey, you got a hole in you. Did you know that?
Tingles a little there. Figured you might want to look at it.
Sure.
Skullplate went with him.
Oh, and it might
With
be
Sellet.
poisoned. So.
Sure.
He needs a little bit of healing too. But he
Indeed.
does mention the poisoned boar and to check for poisons.
Well, let me see what I can do. And Natasha attempts to give you a little bit of a medical evaluation while one of the others pops over to fetch Lazarus. Fucked if I know. I'll get Lazarus. And Lazarus comes along to give you a little old treatment. And I tell you what, we'll even roll off of his stats today. Oh, that's right. I'm rolling characters that aren't even here. I'm fairly sure that's some sort of crime.
That's a sin.
Yeah, that's definitely that's a paddling right there. Well, that's
Oh well. You ain't gonna mind.
so. Lazarus approaches, and yes, it was poisoned. Fortunately for you, Selep, the armor seemed to save the poison from getting into your bloodstream, as only the tip of the arrow had made its way in. It seemed that most of the poison had been, let's say,
Scooped off.
Scooped
From the
off.
leather.
Exactly. So, a near miss, although you were expecting to probably feel a little bit rough for a few days.
Oh, well, I'm a dwarf. I always feel rough.
And I would say the two of you both can get medical attention there, wounds bandaged, etc., and tended to. Godbert,
Yes.
you make your way over to the Stragani camp. A couple of the more boisterous-looking individuals nod and smile at you a little bit of a patronising look to them as you walk past, but they sort of separate in a manner to invite you inside, let's say.
I will proceed.
And here, points to one of the caravans.
Well, good night to you too.
Hey, come on in, darling.
Don't mind if I do.
You step inside, and Gilda is sat there, stirring a cup of tea. No one dead, I hope?
Well, none of us. Luckily. I mean, a little cut here, and all. You got some Factrill or some other.
Good, darling.
Oh, some ointment, maybe.
You're looking a little worse for wear? Need a bandage?
Well, just a little. I mean, and he sort of puffs pumps up his chest a bit, not to look old and weak. Been through worse.
Indeed. I'm sure you've seen far worse. Looks like you deserve some rest after that.
Might have, yeah.
Godbert, can you make me a hard intelligence test, please?
Intelligence. Nope, not at all.
Pretty lady. Hard to concentrate.
It's just too pretty. Yep.
Even though you're old. You're not that old.
It's them Skaven nipples, huh? That's boner pills.
She tends to your wounds. Offers you a poultice. Even a draft, if you wish.
Yep, sure.
Bottoms up.
Yeah.
So, Why are you here, darling?
Well, let's not beat about the bush. I mean, you know, and I know, so, you know, and, I'm in sort of a bit of a conundrum here. Because, you know, I did something and to forget, you know that thing we do? And, maybe I forgot a little bit too much, you know. Just wanted to get some of the nasty stuff from the war behind me, but most of the stuff behind me, so I don't know.
Do you remember the war, darling?
Well, only bits. I mean, remember there was a war and there was some fighting. I mean, Sigard's grandfather and his daddy were there. Nasty deadite stuff. You
Sure.
know.
Was
And I remember, I mean, yeah, I remember having power, but it seems to be gone now.
are you looking to get it back, darling?
Well, yeah, well, you know how it is.
Might not like what you remember, though.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I don't really like not remembering anyway.
True, darling. But if you chose to forget in the first place, then perhaps you didn't like remembering.
Yeah, but the things that going on around here seems be more use with, you know, remembering stuff than not remembering. Because I'm running into things and I don't really know what to do, so.
I can always lend an ear, darling.
Yeah, I bet. So you know anything about those ghosts and the singing mushrooms?
Crying mushrooms, darling.
Oh, the singing, crying.
Big difference.
Well, it was a sad song, so.
Yes. Something's got them riled up. We need to find what. Because it won't be mushrooms after too long.
No.
They tend to pick up on it first. It'll make more sense if you figure it out. She's, at this point, playing with a knife in her hands. Sort of delicately spinning it around, flicking it from finger to finger.
What do you have in mind there, Gilda?
There's some people I need to talk to. I have a few. I need to wait for my friend to come back first.
Friend?
Yes, my friend. The noble knight, as the town call him.
Oh, a strange fellow I heard about.
Very strange. Are you here to advise our new lord?
Well, Doke has pretty much dragged me along because there was some demons and spirits and all. You know, that used to be my speciality, but you know that's why. You know, seems a problem there. You know, it's not really. I'm not really up to form anymore, so to speak. You know, I mean, in the power department wise, I'm pretty much really up to form on all the other aspects, of course.
I tell you what, darling, because I truly believe you. I'll fix you up a drink. Come back in a week or so. And keep an eye on the young one, the Lord.
Oh, I thought you meant the kid. The Lazarus?
No, he's fine. He's just fine at the moment. He's got what he needs.
Yeah, I'll keep eye for Siggy. Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Good. Things are going to get messy soon.
Yeah, I expect. Yep.
And one last thing, darling, before you go.
Yeah.
Beware the ramblings of some of the less educated. I bumped into an old man on the streets. Claimed to be working for the Brotherhood of Moor. Misguided, I would say.
You sure about that?
Yes.
Yeah, it seemed a bit off, but...
There will be trouble. Soon, I am sure, and... well... best get him back to where he is safe. Before he goes sticking his foot in something.
Yeah, well, we need to talk to that Rex fella.
Yes. Me too. I have a few jobs for him. And she smiles a playful smile. The sort of smile you saw when she interacted last with Sighart. And I would say at this point, she's been more business. There's been no flirtatious grin or anything of the sorts. I feel sorry in a way. It must be harder for someone that's less easy to cause distractions.
Yeah, well, you make do with what you got.
Indeed. A little pound of flesh here and there, and I'm normally scot-free, but I'd very much like to know how you've stayed under the...
Well, you know, I got my tricks, and pretty good. It just, you know, the outdoorsy and loner type do stuff, you know. Go out in the woods and stay hidden. Pretty much, people don't see me if I don't want them to see me, so, you know, I get by.
I'm sure you've got a lot more tricks than you remember.
Oh, yeah. Hope so.
Well, goodbye, Goblet, and keep an eye on those spirits by the woods, will you? They're starting to bite.
Yeah, probably the only thing I'm good at these days, but we'll be alright. It'll be alright.
It'll come. Keep chasing. It'll come. And then it'll make sense again. But we cannot force these things. It has to come back by your own actions, not mine. Though I'll make a potion to see if I can hurry it up a little bit. Now, if you will excuse me, I have an ear to cut off. One of the locals thinks they have an infection.
Wouldn't mind seeing how another professional works. Just curiosity.
Okay. You hang around afterwards for what is essentially the removal of a gentleman's ear. Turns out it was actually because he thought he had heard something he shouldn't have, and believed that a curse was now afflicted on him. This is merely one of the villagers from town.
Makes sense to Goblet.
And thus, it seemed sensible to remove the affliction. The ear must be removed. And Gilda is happy to help out, although, as the man's head is on the table, her hand pressing it down and knife making a sawing motion, she smiles towards you. A fairly sweet smile. And on that note, let's roll some endeavours. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for stopping on by. It's been absolutely fantastic. So, who's going to roll first? And let's have some happy music today.
Yay! Happy music.
What should we go with? Should we go for troll fight music? Let's get rid of the adventure, because that's not what we're looking for. Let's go for... Ooh. Helps if you don't hear it twice. There we go. Apologies to anyone that could hear the music twice earlier. I couldn't. So, who we're leading with? Skullblade. In the middle of the week, an old grey man passes through town searching for a healer or mystic. With him comes a small child with a green-tinted skin. The man is trying to raise the little one as his own, and is adamant that the condition can be cured. What assistance do you provide the gentleman?
Oh, he looks like a grubby to me. I'll take him down to Lazarus and Natasha, whatever her name is.
Okay, and we will find out next week what happens. Who is
Whole
next?
city is afflicted by the plague.
Pretty much. Godberts.
Yep, I will roll.
Laundry day. Everyone is hanging their sheets and shirts out to dry. Presumably a woman has mixed up hers with yours. Passing an average gossip test will help you track down the lady and return your clothes. One average gossip roll, Godbert. Otherwise, I'm afraid you have a lady's frock.
Oh, this. I don't think anybody.
You can rock that.
It's hard to tell the difference, really. Just cover it in mud and you'll be fine.
A hard gossip roll?
No, I think it was an average gossip. That's one of my... Okay. You find the lady that has your clothes. She is insistent that it's a little bit tight around the chest and buttocks. And you successfully negotiate your way into her returning what is rightfully yours. Wilfred. Let's have that table roll.
Let's see what happens.
Okay. A cartographer passes through the town while working on an updated map of Reichland. He offers to make a copy of his map for 5 silver. And that will provide you 1d10 locations of interest on your Reichland map.
Alright, I'll give him 5 silver for 1d10 locations of interest.
Roll me a d10, please.
Captain of the River Wardens, actually having knowledge of the area? Fuck yeah.
You gain 1 location. Sure, you can use a fortune to re-roll that one.
2.
There we
8.
go.
That's a little bit better. You gain a fair degree of knowledge, and this is fairly spread out throughout Reichland, but 1 or 2 will be local to you. Lothar. Apologies for missing you up by your training camp, by the way. Betrayed a friend or family member or ally turns on you, the ramifications of which will impact your next adventure. If you have no friends or family, well, you do have friends or family now, because you have colleagues. And other people, so that's a cool one. I like it. I'm curious to see what we can do with that. And, Celeb?
Here we go.
Strange stone trolls have been spotted in the hills.
At least it's not river trolls.
Farmers are in panic and have moved their flock closer to town. Local shepherding this week will be at a -20, while the farmers wait and hope that the trolls will move on. Roll a d100. Let's have 1d100 Celeb. If you roll 50 plus, they'll be there next week as well. Basically, you roll every week for them, and until you roll that they're just going to stay there. And it has to be you, Celeb, that makes the roll, because reasons. Now, is there someone we've forgotten? Godbert?
No, I've rolled the...
You've rolled yours. We've done Lothar. We've done Celeb. We've done Skullplate. We've done Wilfred. We've done everyone. Oh, I want another one.
Done it all.
But I'll have to say
Or
nay.
just roll on your own. Just go for it. See what happens.
No,
Who cares with Jim?
No. I'm going to roll one. No, I'm not. Maybe Gerard could roll one.
Who was supposed to be here today. There we go.
There you go. No, we will keep the audience in suspense for now.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, Thank you very much for stopping on by. Apologies for the earlier technical issues, but thank you for bearing with and hanging on in. Well done to the players for surviving what was effectively just wading into a very dangerous place and seeing it was dangerous and continuing to wade with nothing but just sheer blind ambition guiding them. And yet they lived. A couple of resources spent, but potentially a very big deal for the town. Now, one thing we do have to do is see how much money the town earns this week, which is a mechanic that we have created. And we will be adding blacksmithing to the town as well. So what we're going to do is we load up the town sheet and we make a few rolls to see what we get. Now, fishing is actually on the go again. Fishing is here. For every SL, we get 1 gold crown. 1 gold crown thus far. Blacksmithing will commence as a smithy has just been built.
Pling, pling, pling.
So close. Farming. We're on 1 gold crown thus far.
Shouldn't farming be influenced by the stone trolls?
That'll be the shepherding. No. So the farming is, the farming is slightly different. That's effectively led by Arla. Oh my god, guys. Mining. The mining will be set up now, so that's not going to happen just yet. We're going to go for a challenging role for the shepherding. So I would say... Oh, good fucking lord. You know what?
3 sheep on the way.
You know what the scary thing is that you guys need to pay back 8 gold crown every week in interest. Not in interest for your loan. Not yet, but you will need to soon. Okay, you got 2 gold crown. So that's good. Your town, after all of its things, has 2 gold crown left. The apothecary business is just being set up, so there's a couple of modifications that should have been made. Actually, the farming should have had a bonus of plus 10, so 47, still a tiny bit of a fail. There's a couple of modifications, so it might end up being 3 or 4 gold crown. But I'll get on and do that afterwards. But thank you very much for stopping by, players. Thank you very much for everyone stopping by. The group will get 100 XP for today, plus an extra 25. Because silver. Well done. So, see you around stream. We'll be back next week. And remember, we're going to be running this twice a week fairly soon. Probably 4 players per session, so it will be a little bit different. And it should be awesome.